Hello, and welcome back to Et Kafkar, where we read Reddit stories or Reddit posts. I am on a kick for retail, mostly because I just read one for the previous video or previous recording, and I saw this one. I agree with some of their points, disagree with another of their points, but this is pet peeves, retail pet peeves. This is from Rasputini, or Rasputini, maybe? It's two N's, so it's teeny or tinny. Rasputini? Words are fun and not difficult to read. All right. I've been getting in the habit of just closing the game out in between recordings because I don't want this. Kind of just want to do everything as I'm playing the game, and the max I can ever do is 4 hours from the pipe and stuff. So this is just pet peeves from this place of retail. This can kind of apply for most places. It's one of 8 pages, so we'll just kind of go through it. So 1, when somebody is walking slow in the middle of the effing aisle. Yep. I agree with that. Especially, so it's slightly different if you go into the aisle and they're already on there and they're just kind of meandering and they're not aware of your presence. Usually I kind of gauge if I'm about to turn on an aisle and there's a customer there and I physically have something in my hand, I'll just look for another aisle. I'm relatively tall, so I can kind of see over to the next aisle and just walk over there. I'm like, oh, there's nobody there. I'll just do it. You know, if you have product that you're trying to merchandise or during truck and all that. But I do get that. It's just like, especially if I go into the aisle and then you see that I'm already on the aisle and I have a huge load that I'm dealing with of product and you just take your sweet time, I don't like you. I guess 2, we'll just number. They're not numbered, but it's another one. When a customer calls me over to unlock something, but they have no idea what the F they want, so I just have to stand there while they look and decide, which they should have done before calling me. I agree with that. It's like, why'd you call me over? What? You're not ready. Well, maybe I'll get. It's different. They call you over, and they want you to open it, so you open it, and they're deciding between ones. And so they want to physically see, oh, what does this one have that this one doesn't? What's the difference? What's the difference between the store's name, the name brand versus your brand? Like, that's fine. Like, yes, I have other things to do, but that's not the customer's concern. Like, that's not the customer's fault. That's the company's fault for not giving enough people to work shifts. This one, I don't really want to read it. I guess I'll read everything in whatever. 3, when I can't doom scroll or text my friends on my breaks because the internet in the store is cat piss. That's kind of irrelevant. That's not a company pet peeve. Like, that's not really I mean, I guess that could be a pet peeve for you, but yes, you're on a break, either you're one of your 15s or a 30-minute break. It's not the store's responsibility to make sure you have internet. Or so you can doom scroll and chit-chat with your friends. Like, that one's just kind of like complaining to complain. When customers are dumb, stupid morons. I can get with that. When customers argue with me on the price of an item or basic math. Oh, again, I think when I worked at a convenience store, I got into the habit, and I still do it here, but nobody's really brought it up, mostly because we don't have like a little. So at my convenience store, we had our register, then there was the pin pad, but then next to, kind of above the pin pad, was like this device, like a stand, that like a little miniature electronic billboard, in a sense, that would show the price and then change and all that stuff. And so it was at eye level for most people, so that's why they would say anything. But I'm really good at math, and I'm really good at pattern recognition. So if anything was under $20, I just hit exact cash. I didn't type in a cash, I just hit exact cash. So if their item was $7.32, I knew their change was $12.68, or vice versa. If their total is $12.68, I know their change is $7.32. I just would do that. And the amount of times I would tell people, oh, your total is $13.16. And they give me a 20. I would then give them $6.84. And they'd be like, isn't my change $13? And like, that was your total. It told you your total, and this is your change. Oh. And nobody knows basic math. Basic. I know math can be hard. I love math. Math and numbers come real easy to me, to a certain point. There's a point where I'm like, that's stupid. I absolutely hated geometry. But most of it, basic math, being able to $20, you should be able to make change. Anybody, without a calculator, without anything, you should be able to make change. Whatever the total is from $20, you should be able to do that in your head pretty easily. But yeah, when they always argue, but the price, it's the wrong item, or the price you're seeing is a sell sign, and you can't get the sell sign without our membership card. I love how I'm not saying the company's name, but it's almost like so blatantly obviously what the company name is. But hey, I'm not saying it. I guess I shouldn't have said I worked here. Maybe I should have said I worked here and I don't currently work here, but I can suck my chode. Okay, another one. When customers are on their phone while I'm ringing them up and completely ignore my existence. I agree with this one, especially when you're asking them questions. You know, do they want a bag? Because the part that irritates me, if they're on their phone completely ignoring me, I don't care. Great, I don't want to talk to you either. I initiate, and if they don't want to care, I'm like, you're the one that's an asshole and doesn't bother me. What annoys me in this aspect is when they're mad that they're talking on the phone, right? And sometimes you don't know if they're talking to you or if they're talking on the phone, because they're starting the interaction being on the phone and you're ringing them up. It's like, sure, whatever. A lot of people, especially where I'm living now, a lot of them, when they're on their phone in line and they get up to the register, or if they're at the register and their phone rings, they'll answer it real quickly, or they'll just hang up and call the person back, or answer it and go, hey, I'm in line, I'll call you right back, and then hang up. That's fine. I don't think I would answer the phone if I was in, up at the register, or I would be like, I'll call you right back, and then hang up. But you being on the phone, or a customer being on the phone, does not annoy me. It's when they're on the phone and they're mad that I didn't read their mind. Oh, I didn't want that one. I just wanted to know the price. Like, well, you didn't say anything. You were just chit-chatting with your buddy. I don't know what you want me to do about it. Or they get like, there's a fine line between like 1 to 3 items where some people don't want a bag and some people do. And I would say if it's 3 items or less, it's not always, maybe it's 2. If it's like 1 or 2 items, you're not really asking if somebody wants a bag. And then they're on the phone. So I've asked people, would you like a bag? Would you like a bag? And they don't say, even not on the phone, they would just ignore me and then finally go, oh, can I get a bag? And it's like, I asked you like 3-4 times. But the people, and then when they come up talking on the phone, you just kind of don't do anything, or you just kind of stop paying attention. Maybe talk to your cashier buddy, or whoever you're working with to kind of go over something. And then the customer has stopped talking to the person on the phone and is now talking to us, but does not identify that they're now talking to us, and get mad that we don't know that he or she is talking to us. Like, well, maybe if you weren't on the fucking phone, I would know who you were talking to. When customers hit the green button when I clearly tell them to hit the red, and then followed by when they do it more than once. It is so infuriating. Because again, what I was talking about in my other video, use your eyes. The amount of times that people, there'll be a prompt on the pin pad. It doesn't matter where you go. There's always a prompt. You know, do you want to sign up for this membership for this company? Do you want to opt into email? Do you want to opt into text? And it'll ask them questions. Do you want to donate? And something will prompt on the pin pad. And almost every single person's response is, well, what does it say? I've gotten into the habit because one of my coworkers, when I worked at a convenience store, goes, I don't know. Why don't you read it? Why don't you decide to see what it says? I know what it says, but you may. Why are you going to take my word for it? Maybe I'm going to trick you into doing something you don't want to do. Maybe you should read what's on the pin pad before you progress, and then they will inevitably hit the wrong one. But usually it's the ones that don't matter. Like just hit the red one, and they'll hit green. It's like, oh, I told you to hit the red one, and then I clear it out. Hit the red button. Usually after the first one, I'll reach over and just hit. I'll just do it for them because it's just faster, and I don't have to worry about strangling them. When customers hold up a line because they want to use exact change. This one's subjective. It's one thing. I don't know. There's a point where it's like, okay, you're taking a little long, but I don't care. I'm getting paid the same. Like I get deducted money from my paycheck because that person took too long. The most that's going to happen is, oh, you need to hurry up. And my response to that is, F you. Like, go screw yourself. Like if a higher up's like, well, that took too long. You need to tell them to hurry up. No, I'm not going to. What are you going to do? Write me up because the customer was paying? Get out of here. And if somebody else in line is complaining, oh, it's taking too long, don't get mad at me. Get mad at the person that's holding the line up. But I don't care. I'm not holding the line up. Now, if I'm the customer in this position, if the moments are flipped, the situation is flipped, I don't really pay with cash. I don't like having cash on me because then I go through it too quickly. And I do have girl math. I agree with girl math. Anything that's paid with cash is free. If you pay with your card, then it's not free. But if you paid with cash, that item was free. And I fully agree with that. I am financially sound, by the way. I am really good with my money, but I do agree with that. It's not a good habit to have, but I rarely have cash. So, but I never pay with exact change. The only time I really do is if I'm paying at a drive-through, because that's where I have changes in my car. And I've looked, like, oh, the change is this. Sometimes I'll forget, or I wasn't paying attention. That's on me. And it doesn't take that long. I'll look and they'll say the change. I'm like, I might have it, but nah, here, just take this bill and I'll just take more change. I don't worry about it. I have social anxiety. But so this can, but I don't really care because I'll look over. I used to state that we have the self-checkouts, but the amount of times that people, even when I walk them over there, and they're gracious about it, but it's still just, what? You're not observant of your surroundings? Boy, you'd be great in a fire or in a dire situation. You'd be real great. You're going to be a great witness. If somebody comes in here and shoots me, I'm going to die and nobody's going to know who shot me because you don't know how to pay attention to your surroundings. Anyways, but I'll walk them to the self-checkout and they're like, well, I didn't even know you had these. I'm like, how? You walked right by them and they spoke to you. This one, when customers breathe or look at me, I get that. This one kind of locks into what this person says later on. When they won't use the self-checkout when I have a line. Again, I don't care. I get paid the same. Granted, I don't want to be behind the counter. And I've gotten comfortable enough that when I have to go behind the counter to load money on a card, we can't do that at the self-checkout. And there's people. Once I'm done with that transaction, the person will walk up with their items. If it's a few items, I'll grab them and walk around the counter, go to the self-checkout, and ring them up there. I'll just do it. I'll just do that and get out from behind the counter. I hate being behind the counter. One, because higher-ups are fucking assholes, and I'm not going to bleep that, are absolute douche nozzles and hypocritical little twats that get on my fucking nerves because they speak out of both sides of their ass. They will say, your main register is the self-checkout. Cool, great, fine. Don't have a problem with that. Then in the same breath, they're like, well, if a customer wants to use, for you to go behind the counter, you can do that. Then you do that, you go behind the counter, you want to get stuck behind there. And then they'll follow up with, hey, you're behind the counter. Why were you behind the counter? What do you mean, why? Well, I mean, if you're stalking me and looking at the camera and you weren't physically in the store and you were just looking at the camera, because they have access to that. And they say that they're only doing it for security purposes, but they're actually just watching us because they're assholes. Then I'm behind the counter. I was physically in front of the self-checkout. I had to stop. I had to walk behind the register. I'm now helping them at the register. Somebody else came up, and I got stuck behind there, or I was doing a photo order or whatever it is. Why. Why are you asking me? They have yet to ask me since, But my response, and my only response, and if you work at this company, any company where they have self-checkouts and they want you to use a self-checkout, but you also have main registers, your only retort, and this is, you can say it more respectable than I will, is if you don't want me behind the register, if you don't want me behind the counter, get rid of the counter. Now, I'm going to respond with some fucking sass and be like, well, if you don't want me behind the counter, don't have a counter. Get rid of it. Demolish the counter. Get rid of it. Just get rid of it. And guess what? I'll never be behind the counter. You know what else? If you allow the self-checkouts to load money, which I know that's a feat in of itself because these checkouts are capis. Absolutely horrendous. And also, get rid of the photo stuff. Get rid of the photo things. And guess what? I won't be behind the counter. But they have yet to ask me. But I will tell them what is on. I'm like, no. When I'm okay, another point from this person. When I'm trying to lock in on a task and keep immediately getting interrupted. I get this. I think it's just my perfection, OCD, nature. I don't know. All this is all undiagnosed, by the way. But it's just, I get focused and like, let me just like doing a planogram or something. Let me just put this one item. Let me just finish this. Okay. Or doing the truck. Let me just finish this one tote and I'll be right there. Because I'm like almost done. Or I'm knelt down. And I hate getting up and down. I get lightheaded for some reason when I stand up. So I'm like, I just like finish this, finish, and then I get up and go and help them. I get this, but unfortunately, that's just working in retail. When customers complain about literally anything, obviously. When customers don't believe me when I say something isn't in stock at my store because they saw online that we have it, 9.5 times out of 10, they are not even, when it says we have it online, they're not even at our location. For whatever reason, because even when I go online to look for an item, because I'll use that instead of our store device, but that thing sucks unless you have the item number. I will go, I'll type whatever the item is or whatever the thing they're looking for, followed by the store name, the company name, and see if we do have it. And then that'll go to the website. I'll go to the website and then I'm able to locate it easier because then it'll show me a picture or I'll go, oh, we have it in this aisle. But a lot of times it will default to a random, and I do mean a random, not even in the same state. Like it's like another state, like granted I'm in the center of America, but it's like all the way in the East Coast. I'm like, why is it defaulting me there? And I'll have to, and most people don't realize that. And even when it does show that we have it online, I don't know how like delayed online is to in-store. I don't know how delayed it is. It might be more accurate than it used to be, but it's also just like, I know the stock, especially if it's like specific items that I work with every day. I know I don't have it. I'm not going to go and look for it. So I'm not going to waste my time. I'm not going to waste your time. I know for a fact we don't have it. Because I've already seen earlier in the day that we don't have it. Had one couponer to get mad. Oh, you didn't want to go and look. I'm like, I don't have it. Well, just scan it to see. I'm like, no. You have no power here. You're not going to force me to scan something that I know we don't have. We don't have. Then she complained that I just wasn't wanting to sell her something. It's okay. She was a twat anyways. Another one, when customers can't follow basic directions. Yeah. Now, some of my coworkers will give too broad of instructions or directions to get to our bathrooms. It's not like it's complicated. We just tell them, follow this middle part of the store. What I say is follow the middle part of the store where the red and white wall meet up. It's right behind that wall. You'll see the books right behind that. Boop, right there. What a lot of my coworkers will say, and I tell them not to do this because people don't know how to listen, or follow directions, because you have to treat almost every single person as a computer. And if you've ever done any amount of coding, you have to be as literal as you possibly can. Because if you are too vague, that code is not going to work. And so what my coworkers would usually say is, follow this middle part of the thing. You're going to see a hallway to your right. Follow that. The very last aisle is our baby aisle, and it goes all the way to the end. And at the end of that aisle is two doors, two big silver doors that I discussed from the last video. And every single time people will just push it. And so I told people, I'm like, stop telling them about a hallway. If you're on the left-hand side of the store where you can visually see the doorway, then yeah, point it out and go, oh, you see the little doorway right there in the middle, in that little corner aspect in the middle of the store, right there. You can do that. But when you're at the front of the store, don't say anything about a hallway. Just mention red, white wall, meet up, because that will give them the least amount of confusion. Another point, when customers ask me a question, like where something is, and as I am answering them or giving them directions, they just start walking away before I can finish. That one's great. That one does not happen. I'm usually, and no one's really brought it up, but I do notice it, but after I've already done it, and some people might get annoyed, but a customer will ask me something, and without stating it, I'll just walk away, but I'm looking for the item. And so I'm slowly getting into the habit of being more aware of it. Be like, oh, let me go look over here. Or just saying something to indicate that I am not just walking away from them, I'm walking, but I just get that thought. I get the thought, I'm like, oh, maybe it's over here. And I don't say it out loud. I've noticed it with some of these videos where I'll have a thought in my head and then say something, but I never said the thought. So the thing that I say is disjointed. Sound crazy sometimes. Oh, this next point. When I have to endure their body odor or bad breath while I'm ringing them up. Oh my God. I'm going to tie this in with also smelling just straight up like marijuana. It's so vile. It's, you do you, but you smell awful. It gives me a headache immediately. And I have a very strong sense. I'm allergic to certain smells. Because this also, don't even just body odor. This can be perfume and cologne when it's so strong. I almost, to a certain degree, rather smell bad breath and bad body odor, because that just like gross. It's like, ugh, I don't want to smell it. As opposed to strong perfume, because it gives me a mini migraine, where the smell, it feels like the smell is, it feels like my head's being squeezed. Once I'm out of the smell, it goes away. Like it's immediate, it's gone. But it is like my head is being squeezed. My brain is being squeezed, and I can't take it. But the bad odor is also bad breath. I'm like, oh, Jesus. And some of them be kicking. It's like, when's the last time you've put anything in your mouth that wasn't literal human fecal matter? Like, ugh. And it's just nose blind. I mean, we all get used to it. I'm hyper aware of what I smell like, especially if I've forgotten. I was absent-minded and lazy, not lazy, but just forgetful. I'm like, I need to put deodorant on, and then immediately forgot. And then I'm at the point where I'm like halfway to heading to work. And I'm like, crap, I forgot to put on deodorant. And it's more so in my head that I can smell my BO, and I'm just hyper aware of that. But a lot of people aren't, and I almost kind of wish I had that mentality. Another point, another pet peeve, when they toss their money or change on the counter instead of handing it to me. Oh, I've started getting into the habit of just pushing it back to them. I've just gotten to the habit of pushing it back to them. And just straight up just like, nah, you want to do that again? Or when I hand them the money back, I just put it on the counter. I don't throw it, but I don't hand it to them. I just put it on the counter. One person threw something at me, and I straight up, because I had my hand out, and I let him have it. I was like, no, sir. I pushed the item back to him. I think it was a coupon or something, and I pushed it back to him. Like, no, you can leave with that attitude. I'm over here trying to help you, and you can't. I had my hand out, and you could have put that item in my hand. Instead, you just threw it on the counter. No, we're not going to do that. And he's like, oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, I didn't mean. I'm like, mm-hmm. And ever since then, he has been very nice. He's no longer a dick. Yeah, because he was like 70-something years old, probably. And sometimes you got to remind people of manners. I had one person, again, at my convenience, when I worked at a convenience store, I had my hand out. And this could have been funny. Maybe he was trying to be funny. I don't think so. Where he put the money, it hovered above my hand. And then he immediately, before putting it on my hand, just went, he had it hovering over my hand, and then just placed it underneath it. I was too young. I think now, if that happened, I'd kind of look up to see if he was laughing, but I don't recall him like wanting to be cute, and he was a regular customer just being a little asshole. And it's like, I can see a regular customer kind of doing that, you know, in all fun playing. That's great. But I'm pretty positive this customer was just being a dickhead. Yeah, I've had people this dude, granted, was like high out of his mind. And he threw a crumpled up $5 bill on the counter. Was not enough. It was way more than that. Like $4 or so more. It was like closer to $10. And he then proceeded to chuck dollar coins under the counter. First two just went right by me because I was not expecting it. And then I started catching after that. I was so annoyed. Yeah, people are assholes. Another pet peeve, when they touch my hand when giving me money or taking their change. I have to assume maybe, because I mean it's accidental. If it's accidental, it's different if it's this weird, you know, you're a female, unfortunately, and the men are like using it to hit on you and such. But okay, somebody touched your hand. I mean, if it's innocuous, if it's just, you know, because you're interacting with hands, sometimes they touch. Like, if it's full on, they're grabbing your hand to grab it, that would be weird. But when they say they don't want a receipt, then change their mind after hitting no receipt. Yep. When they hit no receipt or email receipt, then ask why didn't they get a receipt? Yep. I think there's another point later. I'll wait. I might come back to this point, but yeah, the no receipt. I think this person talks about later on, like not getting coupons and stuff. When corporate keeps cutting our hours while we're drowning and refuse to help us or pay us more since they have one person taking on the work of 5 and expect us to meet deadlines. And to be mad that you didn't meet deadlines. And why didn't you do this? Well, I mean, you just have to do, sometimes you have to walk out of the green zone, and then you're out of the green zone. Why did you walk out of the green zone? That really gives away where I work. I'm not going to believe that. Another point, when customers blame cashiers for issues with their gift cards, even when we explain to them that we have little control over gift card scams and that purchasing them comes with risks, or that they come with fees, and that they're non-refundable on our end. Another point, when parents let their kids cause chaos and make messes around the store. Yeah, it's mostly couponers at the one location I used to work at and then my current location with this company. Straight up, it's them being in the store for hours on end and these kids being bored out of their mind, and the kids just run rampant like we're at a playground. And I'm too soft because sometimes there's multiple couponers in the store and I don't know which kids belong to which person. I think I'm getting to the point where I'm just gonna, on the intercom, please, kids should be with their parents at all times, or something to that nature. Oh, this point. Oh, this one's great. When I'm in the middle of straightening an aisle and a customer comes along, picks up something to look at it, then sets it down where it doesn't effing belong, and on the row I just fixed. Oh, it's... I will passive aggressively pick up the item and go, oh wow, this goes right here. Or like in their view. Oh, it's like, you see what I'm doing. We made eye contact because I greeted you when I saw you enter the aisle. And you did this, especially after you know I just touched it. Ooh, there was one person, her kid, I had just fixed shampoo, like I straightened it up, and I'm further down the aisle fixing up the later part, you know, the further sections of that aisle, and this little girl comes along and then starts to remess up the things I just did. And I looked over and I said, hey, please don't do that, I just straightened those. Then the mom finally said something to her, and then she stopped. It's like, what the little girl, what are you doing? I mean, I get what she's doing. She's bored because her mother's been in the store at this point for like 2 hours when she's already been to another store. It's like a whole job with these couponers. I hate them. When a customer decides they don't want something at the register or in line, and instead of handing it to me, they put it in a random spot. This goes for anything. If you've gotten something on aisle 2 or 3 or 10 or 15 or 20,000 and you're on another aisle, just keep it with you. And when you get to the register, hand it to me. Don't just pick something up that's candy or lotion and then go put it with the baby item. Nah, I don't want this. I'll put it here. Why? I don't want to search for these items. I don't want to play a little game of hide and go seek with. I don't like Easter that much. I don't want to be hunting for items. When I worked at a convenience store, we had actual we had meats and grocery and fruit, and I would just see just meat on top of canned goods on top of bread in the aisles. I was like, what? Put it back. At minimum, put it back in the cooler section. Hand it to us. It's a small store. Come on, stop being lazy. I was at an HEB once, and somebody had put thawing meat, because I think it was frozen, but had put thawing meat that they had gotten from the deli. They requested this meat, and they put it on top of avocados. Now, granted, I'm going to eat the skin of the avocados. I don't know how, porous and, how much things can seep through the skin of avocados. But still, why are you putting it at the minimum? Just hand it to somebody. Hand it to a worker. Stop being lazy. Another point. I love animals, and we live in a desert, so I support bringing your pets in with you as long as you are respectful of other customers and you keep the pet on a short leash and you make sure that they go outside. They use the restroom before they come in. Or if they do make a mess, you clean it up. I'm not going to clean it up. This is your effing dog. You get to clean it up. If not, you are now banned from the store and you can't come back. Even if I don't have that authority, I'm making myself have that authority. Another point, when they start scanning their stuff at the self-checkouts, when there's already stuff on there that I haven't had a chance to clear, do you look at the screen at all? Oh, that's happened to me times. People will use the self-checkout as a price checker, which is not what it is. And every time I see it, I'm like, this is not where you check the prices. We have a little machine over there that checks prices, or you can get one of us to check the price. Please stop scanning it on this. And then somebody else will come along, scan all their shit, then at the very end pay for it, and then maybe in that moment, right after the receipt prints, then after payment, they'll go, wait, I didn't pay for that. I didn't get that. Or they'll come back a few hours later, oh yeah, I was charged for this, but I didn't get that item. It's like, you don't look at the machine before you don't look at your total. Now, some people go a little overboard, but at least I prefer this person opposed to somebody not looking. But some people will overanalyze the receipts or the pin pad with their totals, because if I'm voiding items or sell items being taken off, it's very confusing. It can look very confusing, and I get people can be confused by that. But and I would rather a customer be a little over analytical about the receipt, even though I'm going to make fun of them and I hate it, than somebody just not caring and then getting mad that they were charged something. I'm like, especially if it's a self-checkout. Again, use your eyes, people. This is such a long video, but about 5 out of 8, so I guess I'll rapid fire some of these. This should be a long video. It's fine. Another point. It says no cash in bold letters on the self-checkout, and then ask, oh, it doesn't take cash? We had the one that did take cash and gave cash back, or had the ability to give cash back. We weren't allowing cash back for a good bit because people were abusing it, treating it like an ATM. And so we had a sign that said no cash back. And I know, and I think a vast majority of people should know what the term cash back means. It means putting in a debit card and requesting money back from adding money to the transaction to take it out of your bank account. A lot of people were reading it as not being able to get their change if they paid with cash. And every time they said it, I looked at them and said, no, they didn't give a change. The sign would read exact cash only or no change back. Or we would just disable the cash feature entirely, and then there would be no option for you to even put in cash. So we would just say no cash. I even asked family members, I'm like, what does the term cashback mean to you? And they're like, oh, I'm like, why would you think, what are you talking about? Every single time, every place I've ever gone where it asks, where it uses the term cashback, it's always, do you want to get money back? Every single time. And I've noticed it at this point, like 20 years. I noticed it when I wasn't even paying for crap. When I was still a child, I was noticing this. Another point, when they can't follow simple prompts on the ACO, especially when it talks to them, because it's visually, it's like blind people positive. I can't think of the phrase I want to use here. Like, it's good. It's somebody that is blind can use our self-checkouts. They would not need our help for the most part. Like, it's audio cues, you know, once you get to the machine, that is. Like, if you're physically on this machine, you would be, if you were even slightly competent, you'd be able to work it blindfolded to some degree. This one, I think if I had to pick one, like if I could eliminate customers doing one thing on our self-checkouts, if I had a genie and I could make one wish, I think this would be the one. I think I would phrase it differently, but I think this would be the one. So it is when they tug the receipt as hard as they can and pull the whole roll out. I'm going to add on top of that being absolutely gobsmacked or annoyed that it happened. But they rip at the receipt like they're trying to start a lawnmower. People, it's a receipt. Have you never dealt with a receipt before? At our self-checkouts, they come out like almost old school, like instead of on the main register, which is like a like it's quick. It's quick. And the self-checkouts, they take a little bit. But if you're holding on to the receipt, you just, and again, this just gives away where I work, but we got long ass fucking receipts. It's gonna take a bit. So you just hold on to the receipt until it gives. Like until you just hold it, it's taut. Because for a receipt, you should give the minimal amount of effort to pull on it to get it off. Once it's ready and it's torn on itself, like it's, you know, it's printed out the receipt and then it kind of, you know, cuts it off to get ready for the next transaction. It basically falls off on its own. Like you just have to give it the minor of tugs, and people are yanking on it like it owes them money. And it's so insane. And I have to look at people and go, what is wrong with you? You absolute, it's a receipt. Calm down. And then it fucks up the transaction with the next person. And it dings the register, so I have to listen to all the noises that causes. Just be patient, people. Be patient. Just patient. It's literally going to add 2 seconds to your day. It's not that much of an ask. Oh, this is going to be a long video. Another pet peeve, when they ask you questions like you're a pharmacist. Yeah, like I'm not in the pharmacy. I do not know. What's the doses? I don't know. I haven't a clue. Look at the bottle. This one I don't understand, but this might be state specific. I mean, I live in Texas, and this is another thing. When they don't understand the bottle deposit fee and freak out because they think they're being charged for an extra item. I have to assume this is a state thing where if you buy either plastic or a glass bottle, you're charged for it for like a recycling fee or something. Just having the bottle fee really kind of annoys me just in general, but I get the sentiment. Another point, when they can't wait literally 20 seconds for me to get to the counter before acting like nobody works here. So true. Oh god, people will just walk in and immediately go, anybody work here? Hello? It's like, oh. I'd rather that than them just banging on the counter, just bah, 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 bah. It's like, all right. Ooh. And this one, this other point, when I'm standing behind the register off to the side working on a task and they don't come all the way up to the counter so I can see them and just stand 6 feet back, sorry, not 6 feet, that's pretty far back, out of eye line so I don't know they're there. Yeah, that's irritating. I've gotten to the point where if my back is to them, like if I we're doing price changes, or when we used to do price changes daily, and just giving myself something to do, and somebody came up behind me, or if I'm checking in something and my back is to them and they don't say anything, I just ignore them. I know they're back there because I'm observant and aware of my surroundings, but I just ignore them. I'm not a mind reader. I know you're back there, but you just standing back there creepily staring at me doesn't tell me anything. Maybe you're still looking for something, and I have a task I want to finish, and quite frankly, I don't want to ring you up. And then after there was one person that waited several minutes, and finally, can I get some help? And then I turn around, so surprised, like, oh, how long have you been back there? Oh, you should said something sooner. Oh, I got so focused on this. How long have you been there? You should, if you walk up, you're ready to check out and get my attention. Like, I clearly didn't notice you were here. Such an asshole. Another pet peeve, when they treat my register like an ATM, straight up. I will tell people we give $10, $20, or $40 in cash back. $40 maximum. And then they try to do I'm like, no. I didn't say $40 maximum per transaction. I said $40 maximum. You can get $40. Then you can come back tomorrow and get $40. And then you can come back the next day and get $40. If you want more than that, there is an ATM that isn't ours. So don't get mad at me if it doesn't work, but there is an ATM that you can get cash back from, because that's where you get cash back from, not the registers. Another pet peeve, when instead of asking a full question, they just say one word like batteries. I think this is nitpicking. I get that being a pet peeve, but it's just quick. They're in a hurry and they need to find something, and the faster they get in and out, the faster I like them. Like that one company, buy and leave. Buy it and leave. I wish that was the motto. I wish I could wear that on my shirt. What's this? I don't think I read this one. Another pet peeve, when they ask me to call another store to check their stock as if they can't do it themselves. Yes, I know we can look it up on the register, but when they want you to call and confirm, no. Yeah, if you want to, I'm going to look in the register and see if they have it. If not, I can give you the number for that store, but I'm not going to call them. I'm not going to, because you have the option. I don't have any quicker way of getting to a person, which quite frankly, calling other stores should immediately, like if I'm calling from the landline of my store, there should be an option strictly only for us that immediately, it asks front store or pharmacy, and you say front store, and immediately it doesn't go through the whole rigmarole of all the shit it says. It just immediately gets you to, like, oh, you want to know hours? You want to know all the specials? No, just immediately go to the store. But I don't have that ability, so you get a call, and you get to suffer through that incessant drivel. Oh, this is for coupon. This one's about couponers. When they fill up a whole cart of scan card items, I don't know what they mean by scan card items, and their scan card doesn't work, so I have a cart of full go backs. I interpret this as when a couponer has, because it's happened to me, where they come, they're either fresh on doing couponing, or they're just assholes, and they get all this stuff, and because their total went from $50 to $5 and not $2 or $3, they don't want it anymore. Like, motherfucker, you just saved so much money and you didn't save enough, and now I had to put 50 items back because you're fucking greedy? Get out of here. Boy, I wonder how long this video is. This is a long video. Another pet peeve, when they come in, I guess 5 minutes to closing, and they say they just need one thing, and then head to the back of the store and try to shop for like 10 items. Yeah. Now, at that point, when it's 5 minutes, I work at a store that's 24 hours, so it doesn't bother me. Once it hits 10 o'clock, I'm out of there. But, yeah. At my other location that did close at 11, which was way too late, it should have closed at 10. It was like about that 2-minute mark, we were locking the door. They hated it when we locked the door, but they also hated when we got overtime. I was like, what am I supposed to do? Lock the door exactly at 11? I still have to run back, turn the lights off, run back up here, clock out, put the code in, then leave, get checked and leave. That's still like an extra 2 minutes. And nobody's here anyways. It's not like I'm going to help them. We're getting close to the end. when I'm in the middle of ringing up a customer and another customer cuts in line to interrupt me and ask and to interrupt and ask me a dumbass question, like at least wait for me to finish with this customer and ask the person behind them if they mind. Why doesn't anyone have basic decency, politeness, or patience? I somewhat agree with this. If it's a quick question, not like a full-on, this is going to take a bit, but a quick, where is this item located? That's fine. If it's more an in-depth question of, oh, how does your photos work? How does it? Then it's like, yeah, you get in line or you wait until I don't have any customers. But if it's a quick question, like where is this item located? That's not really cutting the line. That's just asking a question. I think that's fine. If you're just asking a question, just ask the question. I get why people might be annoyed with that, but I also don't really agree with having to wait in line for a few minutes just to ask a single question when you can just ask it and be on your way. It's fine. This is another pet peeve. The effing external pain section with the muscle wraps. Fine. Open the box. See if it fits. But put it back in the effing box after and put it back where you got it. Yes. Granted, I have the same problem that everybody does. When you take something out of the box and you try to put it back in the box, it does not fit anymore. The way they wrap it is by a machine, so us mere mortals can't replicate that, and it just bolts to the box. But I get it. It sticks out. It's all destroyed because you can't open a box. I can't open a box decently without it ripping. But I get it, and it's so frustrating. Another pet peeve, don't give me moist boob or sock money. I have and will put on a pair of gloves right in front of you before touching your wet money. I could see that. I've also heard people just not accept it, be like, no, I'm not taking that. Because it's super gross. Why are you giving me your sweaty ass money? Ew. Ew. It's so gross. When I worked at a convenience store, we had to deal with around lunch and stuff, there was construction workers that would come in to get food and stuff. And I was also near the beach, so this was always but when you knew it wasn't seawater, because some people would come in and be wet and you could clearly tell it was just seawater, so you could just like put it off to the side, let it air dry, maybe pat it with some paper towels. But when they would come in and it'd be stopping, I mean dripping, I'm about to vomit, dripping wet because of their sweat. It's like, one, get a wallet. If it's in your wallet, there's no way it's getting wet. That means you just had loose money in your wallet while you're sweating, while you're doing construction, which good for you. You're doing a hard labor work, but please be considerate to stop leaving money in your wallet or in your pocket. Put it in a wallet, put it in something so it doesn't get wet and it's dripping with your sweat. So gross. It's so gross. All right, down to 2. We're almost there, people. This is a long video. Okay. When customers complain to me about the homeless folk who are outside or who are sitting outside in the shade, what would you like me to do? Hose them away? Throw firecrackers at them? It's 100 degrees out and they're using our shade. If they are not doing anything to anyone, chill the F out. I kind of agree with that to a certain extent. Some people, when they're just minding their business, it's fine. But when they have like all their belongings and they're spreading it out and there's all this stuff, it's like, could you please do that somewhere else? Like, and stop asking people for money. Pet peeve, when they complain about not getting a sell price, but they don't want to sign up for our membership card, or they ask me just to put in a number for them, like going against so many policies. It's like, nope. Apparently that was a policy at one point where the store had its own card and you could use it for people that didn't have their card, but they're slightly changing that where you can now just type in the person's number and it'll give them sell prices in that moment and then they can finish it up on their free time. But oh, I think this video is an hour. I think this video is about an hour. And I always re-listen to these videos. And oh, this is going to be a long one. I did not think reading all these, but I mean, I'm very verbose about retail, and I agree with some of these. Some of these I don't. Very few I don't. Where I think that's our effing job. Like I mean, when you signed up for the job, this is the basic. When you have to direct somebody to an aisle to get an item, I mean, that's what we have to do. So it's some of these, but to a certain point, I get why this person is complaining. But some of these are just complaining to complain, and I get it. When you work in retail, you'll find anything to complain about because you're so mentally spent with the absolute dregs of society, the absolute just I I hate saying worthless, but worthless people is the absolute just horrific people. The people it just I don't like them. Should I buy the cold coins or should I wait until this gets? I'm gonna wait until this gets to 100 because I think I'm just going to use this again. I'm not playing this game to play this game. I'm playing this as just background visual things because I don't want to just have the text on screen recording. I want something else while I'm talking. So if you're watching, you can be surprised at the pretty coins coming out. You know what? Actually, I've changed my mind. I'm going to max this, or go as far as I possibly can with this. Okay. But I'm only going to do 2 coins. So at least when I click this, there's a chance for more colors on screen. So we'll do that. I'll have like 2 coins. Since we have this at 12, I'll wait till this gets to 100. I don't think I'm going to do anything else. All right. This video has been going on long enough. If you've lasted this long, listening to me just rant and rave and agree with some of these pet peeves, because these pet peeves go to any type of retail. I mean, this could be, anything. If you've worked retail, especially this side of retail, not just like customer service, but actual retail, you agree with most of these, or to some degree can agree with some of these. Some of these are just, what word? I can't think of the word I'm thinking of, but some of these are just when customers are stupid and dumb and or stupid dumb morons. It's just like, ugh. I get it. Like, that is a pet peeve, but it's just working with the general populace. All right. As always, I appreciate you taking the time, especially on this video, taking the time to watch this video, even for a little bit, and you come back to it. But I hope you have a good day, week, month, or year, depending on if you want to come back to this channel or not. Toodles.